Yeah, you raise a very, very interesting point. And we know at the time, the acting director of the Secret Service was grilled and has stepped down. Some people should have lost their job.
Well, somebody did, the director, as you well know. Yeah.
Without a doubt. You know, I had the opportunity to sit and speak with Sergeant Nicholas Irvin. He is or was an Army Ranger, sniper with 33 confirmed kills, 6 deployments, 5 of which he saw combat. And he said something that was interesting. He said Kamala has no chance of beating Trump after Trump had just almost gotten shot. He said at that point, Trump had that thing in the bag.
No one's going to have a chance of beating Trump right now. No one. Not from his camp, not from the Biden presidency, not from his campaign, not Harris. No one from that campaign presidency has a chance against Trump right now. No one. Absolutely
Why?
No one. Trump's too powerful. He's too powerful right now. Like he's putting on the fifth Thanos ring. Like Trump just went Super Saiyan level 5. After yesterday, Trump he leveled up.
You find any truth to that statement?
Well, we discussed this earlier briefly, and that is this sort of messianic figure that he's become because he survived that assassination attempt. And you saw that on display in the days after at the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. And these weren't all white people. Tim Scott out of South Carolina, the senator, and others basically brought their Bible on the podium and start thumping on that Bible, talking about how God saved Donald Trump and he's God's man of action. He's God's man for this hour, right? You got that kind of language. So I wasn't surprised by that. I mean, the minute I saw him survive that attempt, I was like, oh, Lord, we in trouble now. I didn't go as far as your guess to say that it's in the bag for Donald Trump, but I knew that all these right-wing Christians were going to just wrap themselves in this notion that God saved him, as the Bible says, for such a time as this. You know that phrase, that God saved him for such a time as this. I knew that was going to happen. The part that I found fascinating about that particular moment where he survives the assassination attempt is, again, how black culture is always on display, even people aren't, necessarily tuned into it. So Donald Trump has been shot at, apparently. He survives this assassination attempt. And his first instinct in that moment, Prez, as you saw, was to put his fist up in the air like a black man. Like he's John Carlos or Tommy Smith at the 68 Olympics. Like he's Huey Newton, a Black Panther. He got that fist up in the air yelling, fight, fight, fight. And I just found that really, really fascinating. That at this particular moment, what Donald Trump is doing with that fist up in the air is appropriating black culture. I can assure you that the Klan never had a fist raised up in the air.
Oh no!
As part of their thing, man. But Donald Trump in that moment once again appropriates black culture with that fist up in the air, and I just found that to be fascinating. That again, what we give the world is so hegemonic. Not that I had any other choice, but if God had asked me, would I want to be anything else? No. I am quite happy with being a black man, never mind all the hell I have to endure every day for being a black man. I wouldn't want to be anything else. I am so glad that God made me who he made me. I am happy and comfortable and grateful to be in the skin that I'm in. And every day I look up and I see all the ways in which we have impacted the world. Du Bois, the great black intellectual, once put it this way: would America have been America without her Negro people? Would America have been America without her Negro people? We know the answer is a resounding no. But even in this moment of turmoil and travail, Donald Trump has the presence of mind to put that fist up in the air like he's a Black Panther. And I just cracked up when I saw that, man.
You said like he's Huey P. Newton.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, you touched on, actually, you said this quote earlier, but I'm going to read it from your book. Um, and then I'm going to go into something else because you keep bringing a name up that we got to talk about. You said the opinions expressed by the essayists in this book belong to those who wrote them. We need not agree on their particular point of views to engage in a robust exchange of ideas about how to make Black America better. I welcome the debate and hope you do too, because when we make Black America better, we make all America better. With that in mind, you have brought up the name Tim Scott no less than 3 times in this conversation. I am trying my best to honor his points of views on how he sees America and himself as a Black man in America. I thought how about this? I had the hardest time watching him stand at the RNC and say, America is not a racist country. Is he, in your opinion, just playing the game? Or does he truly feel, does he come from a place that he does not see the obvious? I don't think America is the same America that it was in the 1700s, the 1800s. But to stand before America and say that America is not a racist country, maybe I'm missing something. How do you interpret that?
So there are a couple answers to this. Number one, I've said time and time again, I still stand by this. Racism, I believe, is still the most intractable issue in this country. I believe that. There are a number of issues that I think are in that intractable category. And I won't detour us in that way. But at the top of that list for me is racism, the most intractable issue in this country. In part because we don't want to deal with it earnestly. We don't want to deal with it transparently. And so it remains this issue that we seem to take a step forward and 2 steps back. There are many people who thought that the election of Barack Obama was going to usher us into some sort of post-racial America. That didn't happen, so we know better than that now. But the sad part is that there's something about being in electoral politics and not being willing to tell the truth that snags folk, rather, both on the left and the right. So here's the shocker. Tim Scott isn't the only Black person in the Senate who said that America is not a racist country. In the past 4 years as vice president, Kamala Harris also said that America is not a racist country. Now, you can try to define that and split that and splice that anywhere you want, but Kamala Harris in this instance said the same thing that Tim Scott said. And there's something about the nature of being in these high positions that don't allow people to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. I am not naive about this. I am not stuck on stupid. I was debating this very thing with a friend of mine the other day, a very noted Black journalist who in fact is a Pulitzer Prize winner, who said to me, but Tavis, you know she can't say that. You know she can't tell the truth about America being a racist country and be elected. And I said to him, then what is the point? What is the point? If we're voting for people who can't tell the truth, then what is the point? Again, no naivete. I'm not stuck on stupid, but you've gone just a little too far for me. when you come out and say that America is not a racist country. So I feel that way about Tim Scott, and I felt the same way about Kamala Harris, which brings me to this. This is why I say all the time that we have got to be willing to hold all of our elected officials, including the black ones, including the ones that we want to see become president, including the ones we're giving money to, as they raised $300 million in 1 month, including those who we're all excited about, including those who will become African-American first. I don't care who they are. If they are putting themselves up, offering themselves up to be an elected official, much less the leader of the American empire, you have to have a critique. You have to ask some tough questions. That does not mean you hate them. I ain't going back to me and Obama all those years ago. You and I discussed that the last time I joined you. But that's what I was saying then. Just because we love the brother and we're supporting the brother and we're voting for the brother and we're praying for the brother doesn't mean we can't query the brother. We still have to ask the right questions because this brother is the head of the American empire. And the same will be true of Kamala if she pulls this off. Don't tell me you ain't got no critique.
Great presidents aren't born, they're made. Great presidents have to be pushed into their greatness. And I believe, that left to their own devices, they end up being garden variety politicians rather than growing into what it means to be a statesman. And so every time Barack Obama and I would talk during the campaign, I would say to him, brother, don't sell your soul, don't surrender your soul, and don't let them steal your soul. At whatever cost, you have to protect your soul. And we would end every conversation. He'd say, Tavis, you do what you got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. So he was running for president. His job was to get elected. My job was to hold him accountable to the best interest of our people. And that's what I did. And all that I was trying to do, or whatever try to do with any president, is to do my part to push them into their greatness. And that means you have to hold them accountable to the best interest of your people. So I love Barack Obama then. I love him now. I voted for him not once, but twice, like everybody else I know. And there are two of the proudest moments of my life, going into the polls, into the booth to vote for Barack Obama. But that does not mean that as a supporter of Barack Obama, that I don't get a chance to hold him accountable to the best interest of my people. And at the end of the day, I don't care how much you love Barack Obama. When he was president, he was the head of the American empire. There is no way that you can be black and not have a critique of the American empire. You have to have a critique of the American empire. And so whoever's running that empire must always be willing to hear the critique of those of us who built this nation and made it what it is.
I've seen people who've caught hell already just for asking tough questions about Kamala. Well, that's a legitimate question to ask. Do you really believe, do you still believe that America is not a racist country? That is a legitimate question. Don't hate because somebody asked that question. It's a legitimate question. And she's running for president. And she said it. Why should we not ask her about it? So my point is the same three words I told you that the frame that I had around Obama is the same frame I have around Kamala Harris. 3 words: respect, protect, correct. Respect, protect, correct. I respect Kamala Harris. I will protect Kamala Harris from all these vicious white supremacist, racist attacks, but I will correct Kamala Harris in love when the sister is wrong. And the sooner all of us get in that frame and not get so caught up with the black thing that we lose sight of what it means to hold them accountable, the better off we'll all be. I hope that 16 years later, we've learned some lessons. I'm not convinced of that yet, because I see a lot of people just going with the flow. But we've been through this one time already. I hope that we learn some lessons. You can ask tough questions of Kamala Harris. She's a big girl. She can handle it. You can ask tough questions without being called a hater, without being called a traitor. Please, please, please. Somebody show me some lessons we've learned 16 years later.